Yo, my people, a lot has happened in this last 2 weeks. Um, since I last updated the fucking, excuse my French, since I last updated the video for the 67, I did some work on it yesterday. I got the kit in for the air ride, which is a sick ass kit. I have the boxes there. I'll go over it maybe right now in the video. However, the rat, has just gone full on full throttle psycho mode here in this fucking build. So I don't know if I was clear before, but I was just waiting to have the perfect opportunity to be able to come up on all the parts. And as soon as I got the parts, I was going to be able to build it, which is exactly what happened here. So I'm browsing through Craigslist, and then I see this ad for this RV with a 460 Ford dually, and the inside's all wrecked. Kind of. I mean, it leaks water or whatever, and it has like nothing, pretty much all stripped, right? But it had a running 460 engine and a dually rear axle and brake lines, master cylinder, proportioning valve, pretty much all the show. And then I don't know, like what this last 2 weeks is just all I've been doing. Hardcore, like all day building this. Of course, I do my side mechanic jobs because that's how I keep alive, and like pay my bills and buy my weed and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But I also, I was giving it full throttle here. So first, let's start through the back, 'cause that's how I started, and then I'll explain it. Let's see. Well, you guys know I had painted the frame. Maybe, I don't know, I made a video about it. So I had C-notched the frame and painted it, and then made that bridge to clear the transmission, right? Because this, I had to cut it and like make it a square so I could clear the drive shaft because of the new geometry. I might still drop it more and take out about a leaf out of the back leaf spring pack so it sits lower. But yeah, so I had to, and this was a lot of fucking work. I had to remove the spring purchase, front and rear, from that RV because the spring purchase that this had were too close to each other, and they were only an inch and a quarter wide because they're like way wimpier springs back then, I guess. So I had to cut them off and then trim them, and this one I flipped them upside down and used grade 80 bolts and everything so it would bolt on. Kind of spaced out there a little. But now, yeah, for sure, I had to cut the spring purchase, flip them, modify them, but it pretty much went under. If you notice, most cars are, this differential is offset, where it's more offset to the passenger side. Reason being that they do that with like mainly Fords is so it could clear the steering shaft and everything, brake system that goes to the driver's side. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that, but that's fine. Here is the axle and everything, and that's why I had to make that bridge so it can clear the drive shaft. But if you can see the transmission there, it's lined down there perfectly now with this pinion, with the differential. Man, it's kind of cold right now. All right, so this brake assembly is from a 57 Dodge that we frame swapped. That black one that I put in previous videos, we frame swapped it to that 89 Lincoln frame. Well, anyway, I had the frame back there, and this was the donor. All I had to do was modify it to be able to fit the master cylinder from the dually. And I gave it a manual pedal, and I had to cut the pedal and shorten it. It still has some welds, but the welds are sick. I have to clean it up and paint it and all that, but But So I had to modify it to be able to fit this under, but the shaft just so happened to be the same diameter, so it was perfect. And I have full working brakes right now and shit. The spring's a little clingy, but I gotta clear and steal that metal. I'm still gonna do the floor and shit. This cross member was from some sort of Chevrolet, and it's also offset to that side. And I had to flip it upside down for it to fit. I have to clear it right now. I have to cut a little piece of it so it can clearance right, but I just need to bolt it. And it just lines up perfectly with the drive shaft because it is offset also for, I guess, an offset axle from a Chevy or something that I had laying around. So that just so happened to be laying around, yo, because I have other ones that I was gonna cut up. I think it's over there somewhere. And then I found this one, and it's the width of this frame, and it has the holes drilled. I don't know if I can get in there, but look, it has the holes drilled already, and they fit. They fit that Ford transmission mount. It was just like a grace of Jesus and shit that it just fit. All I had to do was notch a little so it can clear the brake lines here, which brings me over here. If I can see if I can get a good shot of it, I actually put the brake lines really clean here. Look, that's the proportioning belt from that dually, and then I have the lines going here with little separators and like rubber isolator here to this Chevrolet, the original Chevrolet. I just had to buy this adapters, and it's already I need to bleed it a little more, but it's pretty much, it's breaking, because when I rolled it down that hill over there, just the frame, it was good. Problem I'm having is that up front I had those dually wheels, but I had to have them backwards because they hit this. So I got this original steels, like Chevrolet steels. Let's see if I can flip this. Right? But they also hit on the steering arm. So I need a rims with a offset that's more out, or some space or something. And over here I already started fabricating this other mount, which I need to trim this, but this is gonna go welded flat here. And you see how I drilled it with the original mounts, and then in the bottom it's gonna have a support going from here to the bottom of the frame, and then probably up and under the engine connecting to the other side. But I just gotta make each side. So I gotta take the engine out again, and I'm gonna finish cleaning it and painting it. And I gotta paint all this black. Everything's gonna be black, no chrome, nothing's gonna, just like how I painted that frame, everything's gonna look almost like if it was like, you know, those old factory like Model A's and shit that were all black. Everything was black, like industrial style. Yeah, I don't want none of that shit, different colors or anything like chrome or rust. Nah, I'm gonna, like, we're already working on, like, you can see it's pretty clean. We've been working on degreasing all this shit. When me and my dad made this gadget thing, well, he had the idea, he had seen it somewhere, and I just told him about Venturi. So he like made this Venturi tea into this bucket of diesel fuel with, like, I don't know what else he puts, and it degreases the shit out of stuff. If you could see the engine, it was fucking grimy. You couldn't even see any of the gray, or you couldn't even see the blue of the filter. But he's been getting at it. Yeah, because it's like my dad has nothing else to do, he helps me. And then this, the cap's still gonna come off, and I gotta move that shaft a little bit down, because the way I set it up here right now is just so I can mock it, so I can make the steering box mount or whatever. It just rained all day, like for 2 or 3 days, yo, so this shit got rusted. And I gotta paint it with Rust-Oleum, so I'm gonna have to like wire brush it and everything. And I gotta clean all this slag, but you know, drop some dimes on there. It's not too bad. It's like Ray Charles style, but with his feet. But it's alright. It's a 57 Dodge steering box from that same Dodge. And then this link is from that dually. And then it's threaded here. And has this, like, from factory, right? Like from Ford. So it has adjustment. And then on this side, This pipe's like fucking thick inside. It has like, I forgot what the specs are, but the guy from the steel place hooked me up with the thickest wall. And then this, I had him thread it. So it's threaded into here, like up to like right here. And then I welded it. And then it goes, and it fits this inside of it. And it fits snug, but I still split it. And then I like filled it in with weld, and then I filled it in with weld all around on the sides. So it's, dude. And it steers good. Like I already like moved the truck around the yard with the other dually tires. But look, that's right. And then left. Yeah. It feels sturdy too, like it came out good. That's a lot of angle too. It could be a drift rat. Sorry for the finger in the screen. So that's with the rat. Pretty much what's been happening. A lot of progress here. I channeled the living crap out of the floor. But it's gonna have bomber seats, so you're technically gonna be laying down over here. So you're gonna have enough space for sure. And I'm gonna pull out that wheel and put a smaller like racing style wheel. Unfortunately, somebody took all these dash panels from this truck before we got to it. So I am missing the panels for it. I did cut out that Jeep dashboard that they had welded on the bottom of it because it just didn't make sense and it was taking up a lot of space. So I still gotta mess with all this because I don't know if I mentioned it before, the whole front cowl of this is from a Willys. Like this cab's a Ford, but this whole front cowl is from a Jeep, old Willys, and it's been like flattened and like cut. Somebody built it, and it wasn't a military Jeep chassis, but a military Jeep collector that I became friends with. He bought it, and he didn't have any interest on this cab. He only wanted the military Jeep. If you notice, this box is the back rear end of a Jeep. At this moment, it doesn't fit in between the tires, and I want it to be channeled and sectioned so it's almost to the same line right here. So it's gonna follow this line from the top, and then the bottom, we're gonna stretch it so it can meet this line, and then we have to narrow it. But yeah, that's coming. So yeah, in 2 weeks I knocked out all the engineering for the steering and the brakes, and the engine's mounted pretty much. I need the drive shaft. One of these almost fit, but not quite, so I'm gonna have to get it cut because I wasn't willing to compromise this look. I wasn't willing to compromise because like with the other rat, the engine's forward like 4 or 5, 6 inches, and to me it doesn't look as good because we had to work with what we had because of the customer is cheap and broke. We had to work with what we had and place the engine where the drive shaft dictated, but we didn't definitely not want to do that with this one, and we just set the engine there to where like this is a transmission kickdown and it functions there. That's all we got to worry about. This vacuum line, I'm gonna shorten it and make it look prettier. And then I still gotta clean it up and get rid of all the smog systems. However, what's good about this engine is that it's a non-catalytic engine because they don't have to pass emissions because it's pretty much a commercial vehicle because it's an RV. Don't even matter though, really, because I'm gonna fucking rip all that shit off, and then I'm gonna probably put a HEI distributor. However, I might just use the Duraspark because it did come with a Duraspark box. Let me show you. Here she is. That is like almost like a MSD ignition box if you wire it straight. I have the diagram pretty much in my head, but I also have it written down somewhere. And I found it in a forum. Back when I did the 68 Galaxy over there. That 68 Galaxy has a 460 swap, the same engine. And since I didn't have money for the HEI distributor, I just did the Duraspark because it was my brother's car. So we just did the Duraspark real quick, boom, boom. and it runs good. It fucking ignites like crazy. So either way, if I do use this DuraSpark, I'm gonna put it in the inside of the cowel though, because I want no wires to be exposed. I'm gonna have it as clean as possible. So sorry I didn't record that much, but this is what's happened the last 2 weeks with the rat. And then with this, well, that kit came in, and it pretty much did it yesterday. You have to knock out a bunch of rivets, cut the frame, and then drill all these holes. It took me like 5 hours, yo, because of those rivets. They were a bitch. Even with the air chisel, even with the grinding on both sides, I had to like. And then it has extended panhard bar that has adjustment. It's longer, and it took out the old one. It's right there somewhere. So yeah, I had painted this frame and cleaned it all up when we did the shortening of it. I made a video about that in the last one. We had already had it done, and then the air ride barely came in. So I'm in the midst of doing that. I still need to cut the bed up, but everything in its time. I was still trying to find the short bed replacement bed, but I am gonna end up having to cut it. However, I already found the right forum that has all the information I need on it. Most definitely just gonna do that. But yeah, that kit's pretty sick. Still more to come on this one.